A Russian military transport plane carrying 74 people, including 65 prisoners of war, crashed near the Ukrainian border in Russia's Belgorod region. The Speaker of the Russian parliament accused Kiev of shooting down the plane. Another lawmaker claimed that 3 Ukrainian missiles were fired at the plane. Unverified visuals that have emerged show the plane crashing from a distance. Investigators and emergency workers are on the scene. The local governor of the region said an unspecified incident had occurred northeast of Belgorod city. He said he will inspect the site. The crashed military transport aircraft is designed to airlift troops, cargo, military equipment and weapons. Russia is claiming that no passengers have survived the crash. Belgorod is an important Russian territory which borders Ukraine. It has come under frequent attacks from Ukraine in recent months as a part of Kiev's offensive against Moscow. This includes a missile strike in the month of December last year, which killed 25 people. The prisoner exchange was supposed to be the 50th exchange since the start of the war. Up until now, over 2,800 prisoners have returned back to Ukraine. Glenn Diesen is a professor of international relations at the University of Southeastern Norway. Is now joining us live to talk more about this latest incident. Professor, thank you very much for making time for us and welcome to WION World is One. The Russian State Duma Defense Committee head says that any talk of prisoner exchanges is now off the table and the blame game and the counter accusations have now started. Are these telltale signs of what's to come as the investigations into this crash are complete?
Well, I think so. And again, this is something that both sides would benefit from, this prisoner exchanges. So it's, quite unfortunately that this, of course, this event took place. So it's unclear the direction it will take. Again, so far, most of it simply rumors. The Russian government made it clear they don't really know what has happened. I'm aware that some Russian lawmakers have accused Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian media announced that Ukraine claimed responsibility for it. But once it was revealed that that transportation plane was transporting 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war, they then dropped the claim and the media reports were altered. So it's again, nobody wants to take the blame for what has happened. Mm-hmm. But if it turns out to be a Ukrainian missile which shot down the plane and also then disrupted the prisoner of war exchange, of course this will have consequences on the future arrangements.
Professor, the Russian government is saying that there are no survivors of this crash. If the investigations are over and that is established, what will be the repercussions of that going forward?
Well, based on the video evidence I've seen from the crash and the explosion, it seems unlikely that anyone would have survived this crash. In terms of consequences, I think this could be seen as an escalation. Again, it also depends what missiles, if it was a Ukrainian missile, what kind of missile was used. Again, from the Russian lawmaker, they suggest it was a Western missile belonging to NATO, which was applied to Ukraine. And again, the Russians have been quite angry about this in the past. As you mentioned before, the Ukrainians used American cluster ammunition to deliberately target civilians in Belgorod, so killing Russian civilians with American weapons. So if this turns out to be another NATO weapon used to strike within Russian territory, also disrupting the prisoner exchange, then of course it could have huge consequences, but it's unclear how the Russians would react.
Professor, I'm just curious, will the crash have any sort of impact on the war, at least on the Russian side?
Well, because of these strikes against Belgorod, which is in across the border from Ukraine's Kharkov, there's growing rumors that the Russians have that they're fed up with the attacks within their borders, so that they might set up a buffer zone. So based on the artillery preparations we've seen and troop movements over the past few weeks, it is quite possible that this will motivate them to actually open up another front Kharkov. However, in my opinion, I think they're already moving in this direction, but this could be seen as another reason for doing so from the Russian side.
All right, I've been talking to Professor Glenn Deason. Thank you very much for all your insights and for talking to us today.
My pleasure.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.